Welcome everyone, this is the 31 Days of Dread, and I am your host, Peter A. DeLuca, aka PAD, and this is where we do one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. That's 30, if you can't count, that's 31 movies celebrating the greatest genre of them all, the greatest experimentational platform of them all, the greatest young filmmaker discoverer of them all. It is horror, 31 days coming at you. Look out, ghouls and ghosts, it gets spooky. Alright everyone, coming out of that intro hot, this is what I call the telethon portion of the podcast. This is where I pitch myself to you for your support. Your support means everything to me because we're fighting, the AKAPAD army is fighting against algorithms everywhere. Algorithms, I ate some cereal earlier today, I dumped it into my bowl and it was full of algorithms. Okay, bad joke. Alright. Sharing this podcast, telling your friends about it, leaving comments, leaving reviews. This is how we grow AKAPAD's audio audacity. Your support there is more valuable than anything other than like a high five in person, because I'd love a high five in person. AKAPAD, this year is so crazy for me for the 31 Days of Dread because I'm fighting against doing so much content, and the last couple weekends, every single weekend, there's big things happening. I'm gearing up a new comic book story. We're still live streaming on all the social media networks. It's just a onslaught. It's a downhill. It's chaos. And one of the issues I've had with the numbering or chronological order, so to speak, of this year's 31 Days of Dread is, look, I got into the Scream, fixation. And I watched Scream 1, 2, and 3. And I declare it's the greatest horror trilogy of all time. But then I say to myself, because, there's all this hype for Scream 2022. Because it's coming back, kids. It's coming back. The movie's coming back. And I watched 1, 2, and 3, and I have to watch Scream 4, 2011. And the reason for this, it's that I remember liking the movie. And I'm watching everything with the babe. We watched Scream 1, 2. I think she crashed out mostly during Scream 1. Kind of, sort of, during Scream 2. But, she sees, the gist of it. But we get into a role where we watch, the one half of Scream 2, basically the final hour, and we watch 2, 3, and then 4, and I see her transform. I see her really fall in love with the gimmicks of the franchise, and this is why it's good. And it's hard to it's easy to pitch Scream to someone because the ideas are consistent and they flow from movie to movie. You can't do that with Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw, Friday, Nightmare on Elm Street. It's even tough to do with The Conjuring. And the reason for this is because there is no gimmick to those movies. Those movies have powerful protagonists. Now, The Conjuring's a little bit of a side tangent, but you still need a different demon per Conjuring, even though they have interlinking demons. It's not the same. So we sit down, we watch Scream 2, we watch Scream 3, and I re-fell in love with Scream 2, but I re-fell in love with Scream 3 also, and I don't know why I always somewhat pushed back against Scream 3. I thought Scream 3 was the lesser of all of them. But the way how, without Kevin Williamson, our superstar writer, He's off making a movie called Teaching Miss Tingle, directing, which horrible mistake. I mean, his run around Scream, his production, it's legendary. So we get another writer who is beyond capable. Okay, who's our writer for Scream 3? Scream 3, written by Ehren Kruger. Now, this guy, look at his filmography. 1999, Arlington Road. Arlington Road. Great movie. Reindeer Games. I like Reindeer Games. The Ring. Rings. The Ring 2. Skeleton Key. Good movie. The Brothers Grimm. Hey, I like Brothers Grimm. I like R.I.P.D. I like these like Men in Black ripoffs. Okay. Blood and Chocolate, haven't seen. And then here we go. Okay. This dude is a part of a great trilogy, right? He wraps up Scream masterfully. 2009, 2014, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark in the Moon, Age of Extinction. A wonderful in-movie trilogy comparable to Star Trek 2, 3, and 4. Then we have Ghost in the Shell, one of the best adaptations for anime. Dumbo, I didn't get too far in Dumbo. I watched a chunk of it, didn't hate it, and then here we go. Ready? Top Gun Maverick. So really awesome stuff. And look, uncredited rewrites, Scream 4. So what he does, I love the beginning of Scream. We have Cotton Weary as a media star. He is our first victim. And, like we put an end on his journey that begins with his arc that begins in news stories within the first Scream. Okay, so it's really cool. And then we have Stab. We have I think Stab 4 is being made. And we have a movie within the movie. And we have Parker Posey playing Courtney Cox in the movie. And they're mirrored. The meta the meta positioning for this screenplay, and I say screenplay because this movie Scream doesn't work unless there's a strong screenplay. It is a screenplay driven franchise. Maybe it's the only one, boys and girls. I have to say it, but the meta is so freaking deep that we have the people that we've been with throughout this franchise encountering the people who are interpreting those people through the Gale Weathers new books and stories, interacting with them as everyone's being murdered. It's freaking awesome. And look, people, I haven't done a shout out. I haven't done any shout out to the music. Marco Beltrami. Of all the movies, his best one is Scream 2. I love the Dewey theme. I literally love the Dewey theme. His cues in this movie are there. They're there in Scream 2. And is he our guy for Scream 1? Let me just check. Who did the music for the original Scream? Let's see. Starring music by Brian Taylor has done Scream 5, I think. So he did the first 4. Pretty cool. Brian Taylor doing Scream 2022 is hot sauce. So what are we doing? How much money, right? How much money is Scream making? Let's just look at some of the box office, because I mentioned any of the box office in any of these movies, and I feel like that's a prerequisite. Okay, so Scream 1996. I may have previously labeled Scream as a 97 movie. 1996. Worldwide, $173 million. Scream 2, worldwide, $172 million. Scream 3, worldwide, $161 million. Scream 4, worldwide, $100 million. The budgets, respectively, $14 million, $24 million, $40 million, $40 million. Now, keep in mind, too, Scream 3 and Scream 4 had the same budget, but they are 11 years apart. So, you got to factor in some inflation with that. So, here we go. We have, domestically, Scream 1, $103 million. So, here's the great thing. So, we saw, really big fall-offs with the Pirates of the Caribbean and the Matrix trilogies. So, we don't see much of a fall off though. Scream 1 is 103 domestically. Scream 2 is 101 domestically. Scream 3 it's roughly $90 million. I mean, only a $11 to $13 million swing between 96 and 2000, and along the way, a lot of imitators, a lot of rip-offs, all these other things to diminish Scream 3, but people were so connected to the characters. This is a part of the movie being perfectly cast. Now, Scream 3 and Scream 4 congruently don't have a they don't possess young Hollywood the same as Scream 1 and Scream 2 did. Like, you look at the cast of Scream 1 and 2, everyone essentially goes off and does a million things. Scream 3 and Scream 4 were not so lucky. Storyline wise, we were brought to the end. We're brought to a illegitimate brother. We were told the rules of the sequel through a Randy, right? Like a Randy video cassette. He returns from the dead. Very much talked about cameo, and he explains to us. He's like this trilogy will work if I'm dead. This is going to be a trilogy, which is, again, like the existence of the videotape makes no freaking sense. But essentially, he says that there will be new revelations that you don't see coming that connect to the first movie. It's gotta go full circle. So what they do is they do like a third act dump. They just dump everything, exposition. They reconstruct Courtney, what's her name? Sidney Prescott's mother, and they make her mother a little bit more into like a tortured starlet that got involved with a sex party, that is sexually scarred, and because she's so sexually scarred, she's promiscuous, leading into her death before Scream 1 as part of the Scream backstory. So like, that's interesting, that's good, like that's relevant. The revelation of, like, again, brotherhood, like all these other things, not a big deal. Jenny McCarthy, Scream 3, great death, great, back room, like back office, production office murder. She might be like the biggest one from the cast, right? Like, what really goes to show you how weak the young Hollywood aspect is for Scream 3. But we do wrap it up. We do come full circle. We do have revelations, and we are done. Trilogies should wrap up. I don't know. I mean, I really would say Star Wars and Scream, they have to be my two favorite trilogies at this point. But I do love Pirates. Pirates is probably number 3. Everyone, 31 Days of Dread. So just bear with me. We're still doing Scream. We're going to do Haunted Mansion. I'm debating on doing Muppets Haunted Mansion. There's a lot of other stuff. I'm trying to do regular movie dumps also along the way, just to matriculate. Because look, I've been watching a lot of stuff. But everyone, I love you. Rock and roll. Until I just messed up. Okay, everyone. I'll see you. And to continue this telethon, where we're not talking about high fives, there's other ways to support me. I'm a living professional. I'm a full-time freelancer. Anything you see on this, like here on this podcast, or see my social media, I make everything. It's all made by me. That's a part of my pitch to you. And you can purchase professional services through AKAPAD.com. That's a pipeline to me if you want to send me a message. But also, while you're there, you can sign up for my newsletter. You're going to get deals. You're going to get coupons. You're going to get 2 free trading cards mailed to you free worldwide. And they're 2 Wolfpack trading cards, 2 original characters, for upcoming comic book work. And speaking of comic books, you can go to Etsy, type in Uzi Susie, and that's where you're going to find my mini comic. You can purchase existing issues and pre-order upcoming issues along with bundles if you missed any, like issue 1, 2, or 3 or whatever. There, Uzi Susie is waiting for you. And keep an eye on Indiegogo. A lot of my bigger comic book projects will be available through Indiegogo. All of those updates will be here on this podcast. So if you're a regular listener, I'll let you know. We can rock and roll from there. So everyone, Thank you so much, and feel free to reach out to me on social media, AKAPAD69, Instagram, and Xbox. That's right, you can play Halo with me. Just straight up AKAPAD on Twitter, straight up AKAPAD on the Facebook. My business page is there, my personal page is there. Hey, be a personal friend of mine. I don't care. Let's talk movies, let's talk creativity, let's talk fun, and just who cares? Do you like, the Transformer movies? I love them. We can talk about that all night. So meet me there and we'll rock and roll. Let's get talking. We got a movie to discuss.